Commander Olivia Hayes stared out the viewport of Earth Fleet Command's orbital station, her gaze fixed on the distant stars. The message playing on her screen was the third this month, another recording of alien diplomats snickering about humanity's cute attempts at advanced spacefaring technology. "They're laughing at us again," she said quietly to Admiral John Wilson, who stood beside her with his arms crossed. "Let them laugh," he replied, his weathered face showing no emotion. "They won't be laughing much longer." Below them, Earth gleamed blue and green against the darkness of space. For nearly 30 years, humanity had been part of the galactic community, but always as the newcomers, the primitives who had barely mastered faster-than-light travel. The Galactic Council races, the Arcturians, the Nelvari Collective, and a dozen others, treated humans with a mixture of amusement and pity. The focus of their most recent mockery was docked at the far end of the station, the Horizon Dawn, Earth's first and only seventh-dimension vessel. Its hull gleamed with an iridescent sheen that seemed to shift colors depending on the angle of view, a side effect of the exotic materials used in its construction. "Captain Kelly has arrived," announced a voice over the intercom. Minutes later, Nathan Kelly entered the observation deck. He was younger than most captains, only 36, with dark hair and the confident stride of someone who had risen quickly through the ranks. "Reporting as ordered, Commander," he said, saluting crisply. Olivia nodded. "At ease, Captain. You've reviewed the mission parameters." "Yes, Mom. Though I admit they seem—" He paused, searching for the right word. "Impossible," Admiral Wilson suggested with a slight smile. "Challenging," Kelly corrected diplomatically. Olivia activated a holographic display showing a section of space near the border of Vraxian territory. A pulsing red dot indicated an anomalous signal. 3 days ago, our deep space monitoring station picked up this transmission. It doesn't match any known communication patterns, but the energy signature has traces of human technology. We need to investigate." "With an untested ship," Kelly noted. "The Horizon Dawn isn't just any untested ship," Admiral Wilson said. "It's the only vessel capable of reaching the signal's location within the time frame we need. Conventional ships would take weeks. You can be there in hours." Kelly studied the ship through the viewport. Unlike the sleek, aerodynamic designs favored by most Earth vessels, the Horizon Dawn had an unusual geometry, sections that seemed to fold in on themselves in ways that confused the eye. "Your crew has been selected," Olivia continued, handing him a data tablet. "The best we have." Kelly scrolled through the list. Science Officer Alex Wright, top of his class in quantum physics. Engineer Maya Patel, the woman who had helped design the ship's revolutionary drive. Security Chief Daniel Garcia, decorated veteran of the Mars colony conflict. And Communications Specialist Zoe Hudson, a prodigy in sinolinguistics. "When do we leave?" he asked. "Tomorrow at 800, Olivia replied. "The council races have sent observers. They're calling it a diplomatic courtesy, but we all know they're just here to watch us fail." Kelly handed the tablet back. "And if we succeed?" Admiral Wilson's face hardened. "Then everything changes. The Vraxians have been expanding their territory for years. Intelligence suggests they're planning something big, possibly against Earth. We need to show strength." "The Horizon Dawn isn't just a ship, Captain," Olivia said quietly. "It's humanity's first step into true galactic power. They've laughed at our conventional weapons, our shield technology, our FTL drives. They won't be laughing at this." Kelly nodded, his expression serious. "I understand the stakes, Commander." "Good," she replied. "Because if the theories are correct, you're about to command the most powerful vessel ever created. The question is whether we're ready for what that means." As they spoke, the Horizon Dawn's hull seemed to ripple slightly, as though the very fabric of reality around it was disturbed by its presence. "Get some rest, Captain," Admiral Wilson said. "Tomorrow, you make history." Captain Kelly stood at the center of the briefing room as holographic star charts swirled around him. His newly assembled crew sat attentively at the oval table, each face showing a mixture of pride and tension. "The mission is simple in objective, but complex in execution," Kelly began. "Earth faces a potential threat from the Vraxian Empire that could end our existence. We're being sent to investigate a signal that might give us answers." Science Officer Alex Wright raised his hand. "Captain, I've reviewed the preliminary data. This signal contains embedded mathematical sequences that shouldn't be possible according to current understanding of physics." "That's where the Horizon Dawn comes in," Kelly replied, pressing a button that changed the display to show their ship. Engineer Maya Patel stood up and walked to the hologram. Her fingers traced the unusual contours of the vessel as she explained. "What makes our ship unique is its quantum entanglement core. Traditional ships move through three-dimensional space. Some advanced alien vessels can manipulate the fourth dimension, time, in limited ways. The Horizon Dawn is designed to access the seventh dimension." "What exactly does that mean?" asked Security Chief Daniel Garcia, his skepticism evident. Maya smiled. "Imagine reality as a book. Three-dimensional beings move across a page. Four-dimensional awareness lets you see multiple pages. The seventh dimension would be like holding multiple books from different authors simultaneously." "And that helps us how?" Garcia pressed. "Distance becomes meaningless," Maya said simply. "Energy requirements drop to almost nothing. And conventional weapons become less relevant." Communications specialist Zoe Hudson looked up from her notes. "The alien observers are calling it human delusion technology. The Arcturian ambassador was quite vocal about our charming primitive attempts to understand higher physics." Kelly's jaw tightened. They'd been underestimating us since first contact. "That ends with this mission." The briefing continued with technical details until a soft alert sounded throughout the room. "That's our final boarding call," Kelly announced. "We depart in 30 minutes. The launch bay was crowded with the typical pre-mission activity, but with an unusual addition: a small group of alien dignitaries observing from behind a safety barrier. Their expressions ranged from amused to bored. "Don't mind our guests," Admiral Wilson said as he accompanied Kelly toward the ship. The Nelveri representative called this a wasteful exercise in human overconfidence. "Their mockery stops today," Kelly replied quietly. Once aboard, the crew took their positions on the bridge. The Horizon Dawn's interior was unlike any conventional vessel. Surfaces seemed to flow into each other, and certain angles appeared to extend further than physically possible. "All systems online," Maya reported from her engineering station. "Quantum entanglement core is stable. Seventh-dimensional interfaces are responding." "Departure clearance granted," Zoe announced from communications. Kelly settled into the captain's chair. "Take us out. Steady approach. Once we're clear of the station, prepare for dimensional drive initiation." The ship moved silently away from Earth Fleet Command, its unusual propulsion system leaving no visible exhaust. On the main view screen, Kelly could see the alien observers watching, several clearly conversing among themselves with smirks. "We're at safe distance for drive activation," Maya reported several minutes later. "Captain, I should note that theoretical models suggest some unpredictable effects during our first full power test." "Noted, Engineer Patel. Proceed." Maya initiated the sequence. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, subtle changes began. Light around the bridge appeared to bend. The stars on the view screen shifted colors. A low hum filled the ship. "That's unexpected," Alex muttered, studying his readouts. "The core is accessing dimensional energy at rates exceeding our projections by 300%. Kelly felt a strange sensation, as if his consciousness was simultaneously in multiple locations. "Status report." "We're everywhere and nowhere," Maya whispered, her eyes wide. "The ship is creating its own dimensional pocket. Captain, this goes beyond our theoretical understanding." Just then, Zoe's console lit up. "Receiving transmission." It's coming from the coordinate of our target signal, but the language pattern is unlike anything in our database. As the message played through the ship's speakers, the crew fell silent. Though the words were incomprehensible, the urgency was unmistakable. "It sounds like a warning," Zoe said finally. "About what?" Garcia asked. Alex looked up from his station, face pale. "If I'm interpreting these readings correctly, about the folding of reality itself." The Horizon Dawn emerged from its dimensional shift with a subtle ripple, appearing at the coordinates of the mysterious signal. The bridge crew blinked and steadied themselves, still adapting to the strange sensations of seventh-dimensional travel. "Position confirmed," Alex reported, his voice filled with wonder. "We've arrived at the target location in just under 4 minutes. That's impossible by conventional standards." Captain Kelly surveyed the main view screen. They had arrived in a sparse region of space near the contested border with Vraxian territory. Distant stars provided the only illumination against the void. "Scan for the source of the signal," Kelly ordered. Zoe adjusted her communications array. "Signal origin is approximately 200,000 kilometers off our port side, but I'm also detecting." She paused, frowning. "Multiple ships approaching, Captain. Vraxian energy signatures. Red alert," Kelly commanded. "Chief Garcia, battle stations." The lighting on the bridge shifted to a crimson hue as crew members rushed to their positions. On the view screen, 3 sleek, predatory vessels appeared, their hulls covered in jagged protrusions that resembled teeth. "They're hailing us," Zoe announced. "On screen," Kelly replied, straightening in his chair. The face that appeared was distinctly alien, gray-scaled skin, 4 yellow eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and a lipless mouth filled with needle-like teeth. "I am Fleet Commander Karen of the Vraxian Empire," the alien stated, its voice translated into a harsh, metallic approximation of English. "You have violated sovereign Vraxian space." Kelly kept his expression neutral. "This is Captain Nathan Kelly of the Earth vessel Horizon Dawn. According to Galactic Council star charts, this region is neutral territory." The Vraxian made a sound that might have been laughter. "Your appearance here is unexpected. Our sensors detected no approach. Explain your method of arrival." "We're on a scientific mission," Kelly replied, avoiding the question. Karen's upper eyes narrowed. "No human vessel possesses technology capable of appearing without detection. Unless..." The alien leaned closer to the screen. "Ah, the famous dimensional vessel we've heard rumors about. The joke of the Galactic Council." Maya tensed at her station, but remained silent. "I must insist you power down your systems and prepare for boarding," Karen continued. "Your dimensional technology requires inspection." Kelly shook his head. "That won't be possible, Commander. We're here to investigate a signal, nothing more. Dimensional infants playing with forces beyond comprehension," Karen hissed. "You don't even understand what you've built, do you?" Before Kelly could respond, Alex called out, "Captain, the Vraxian vessels are powering weapons." "Evasive maneuvers," Kelly ordered. The Horizon Dawn moved with surprising agility, but the Vraxian ships were designed for combat. A blast of energy struck their starboard section, causing the ship to shudder. "Shields holding at 82%, Garcia reported. "Their weapons are more advanced than our intelligence suggested." Another hit rocked the ship, then another. "Shields at 63%, 47%, Garcia called out, tension rising in his voice. Maya turned from her engineering station. "Captain, we could try activating the dimensional drive. Not to travel, but perhaps as a defensive measure." "That's not in any protocol," Kelly hesitated. "Neither is being destroyed on our first mission," Maya replied. As another blast struck the ship, Kelly made his decision. "Do it." Maya's fingers flew across her console. Activating dimensional field, low power, localized effect. The air around the ship seemed to ripple and distort. On the view screen, the attacking Vraxian vessels suddenly slowed, as if moving through thick liquid. "What's happening?" Kelly asked. "We're partially phasing into the seventh dimension," Maya explained, her eyes wide with surprise. "It's creating a distortion in local space-time. I didn't expect this effect." The entire crew gasped as reality seemed to shift around them. For a brief moment, each of them could see multiple versions of the Vraxian ships, some firing, some retreating, some exploding, all overlapping like transparent images stacked upon each other. "I can see possibilities," Zoe whispered. "Different outcomes, all at once." Captain Kelly gripped his armrests, fighting vertigo. Through the dimensional distortion, he could see the Vraxian commander's face on the still-open communication channel. Kiran's expression had changed from mocking superiority to undisguised fear. "Cut power to the dimensional field," Kelly ordered once the Vraxian ships had backed away. "Keep it ready to reactivate if needed." The transmission from the Horizon Dawn to Earth Fleet Command ended abruptly, leaving Commander Olivia Hayes staring at static. For 20 minutes, the command center staff tried desperately to reestablish contact. "Last known position," Admiral Wilson demanded. "Border of neutral space, sir," replied the communications officer. Then, nothing. They simply vanished. 7 light-years away, the Horizon Dawn materialized in orbit around a massive ringed planet. The bridge crew looked around in confusion. "Status report," Captain Kelly called out, trying to hide his own disorientation. Maya's face had gone pale at her engineering station. The dimensional drive, it didn't just create a defensive field. "We've moved. Substantially." Alex frantically checked the navigation systems. "This can't be right. According to stellar positioning, we're in orbit around Vrax Prime." "The Vraxian homeworld?" Kelly asked in disbelief. "That's impossible. It's over 7 light-years from our last position." "Apparently not impossible with this ship," Maya replied, studying her readings. "The dimensional distortion created a kind of folding of space. We traversed the distance instantaneously." Garcia pointed to the view screen. "We've got bigger problems. Look." Below them, the Vraxian homeworld gleamed with artificial light patterns across its continents. In orbit around it, hundreds of warships moved in organized formations. "We're right in the heart of the Vraxian Empire," Zoe whispered. "And they definitely know we're here." Kelly straightened in his chair. "Maya, get to engineering. I want to understand exactly what this ship can do." "Alex, scan the planet. Gather all the intelligence you can while we have this opportunity." "Garcia, work out defensive options." As the crew rushed to their tasks, Maya disappeared into the bowels of the ship. The engine room of the Horizon Dawn was unlike any conventional vessel. The quantum entanglement core pulsed with colors that seemed to exist outside the normal spectrum, casting impossible shadows around the chamber. Maya approached cautiously, running her scanner over the core. "This doesn't make sense," she muttered to herself. "The core is creating dimensional pockets, little bubbles where the laws of physics are flexible." Her scanner began displaying equations that shifted and changed as she watched. It was as if the mathematics themselves were alive. Then, more strangely, Maya felt a presence, a consciousness emerging from the core itself. "Captain," she called over the comm, "I think the drive is evolving, becoming sentient somehow." On the bridge, Kelly was too busy to fully process this information. Vraxian vessels approaching. 5 heavy cruisers. "They're scanning us," Garcia reported. "Weapons charged." Kelly tapped his comm. "Maya, can you create another dimensional field?" "I can try something new," she replied. "I've discovered the ship can create localized dimensional pockets. We might be able to use them defensively." "Do it," Kelly ordered as the first Vraxian ships opened fire. Maya initiated the sequence. Instead of the ship phasing entirely, portions of the hull began to flicker in and out of normal space. The incoming Vraxian weapons passed harmlessly through sections that momentarily existed in higher dimensions. "It's working," Garcia exclaimed. Their weapons are passing right through us. On the Vraxian command ship, Admiral Javak watched in mounting horror as the human vessel seemed to defy reality itself. Impossible, he hissed to his officers. No technology can selectively phase matter in and out of dimensions. Back on the Horizon Dawn, Kelly felt an unusual sensation, a presence in his mind, sharing information. From the expressions of his crew, they felt it too. The core, Maya's voice came over the comm. It's bonding with us somehow, sharing its understanding of dimensional physics. Knowledge flowed into Kelly's consciousness, how to manipulate the dimensional fields, how to create offensive capabilities, how to bend space itself to their advantage. It was overwhelming yet perfectly clear. Vraxian High Command is mobilizing their entire defense fleet, Zoe reported, her voice steadier now. 17 capital ships moving into attack formation. Kelly nodded, a new confidence spreading through him as he absorbed the knowledge from the ship's evolving core. Let them come. I think we're just beginning to understand what this vessel can do. From Earth to the far reaches of the galaxy, news began to spread. The laughable human experiment had become something that defied understanding, and the power structure of the galaxy was about to change forever. The Vraxian armada surrounded the Horizon Dawn, their formation designed to prevent any possible escape. 17 capital ships, each bristling with weapons that could reduce a small moon to rubble, moved into attack positions around the single human vessel. All enemy ships in position, Garcia reported calmly. They're coordinating their targeting systems. Captain Kelly stood in the center of the bridge, feeling the gentle pulsing of the ship's consciousness merged partially with his own. The rest of the crew felt it too, a shared awareness that expanded their understanding of what the Horizon Dawn could truly do. Vraxian flagship is hailing us, Zoe announced. On the view screen, Admiral Javak appeared, his 4 yellow eyes narrowed in what might have been concern disguised as contempt. Human vessel, the Admiral began, your technology is impressive, but ultimately futile. Surrender now and share your dimensional secrets, or be destroyed. Kelly allowed himself a small smile. We appreciate the offer, Admiral, but we must decline. The transmission cut off abruptly as the Vraxian ships opened fire simultaneously. Energy weapons of a dozen different types converged on the Horizon Dawn from all directions. Maya. Kelly called out, execute Dimensional Warfare Protocol 1. In engineering, Maya placed her hands on the quantum core interface, letting the ship guide her actions. Throughout the vessel's hull, selective dimensional shifting began. Not random this time, but precisely calculated. Sections of the Horizon Dawn phased in and out of conventional spacetime, allowing enemy fire to pass harmlessly through while the ship remained structurally intact. It's working, Alex reported with awe. Not a single hit registered. Kelly nodded. Now for Phase 2. Garcia, target the lead vessel's propulsion systems. The security chief seemed confused. Sir, our conventional weapons wouldn't scratch their shields. We're not using conventional weapons, Kelly replied. Under his guidance, the Horizon Dawn extended a focused dimensional field, a narrow corridor of altered physics that connected their position directly to the interior of the target ship. The Vraxian vessel's shields, designed to stop energy and matter in normal space, provided no defense against an attack coming through higher dimensions. The result was immediate and dramatic. The Vraxian flagship's engines simply ceased to exist in normal space, having been shifted into a pocket dimension. The massive vessel drifted helplessly. By all the stars, Garcia whispered. Across the galaxy, advanced races with long-range observational capability watched in stunned silence. The Arcturian Science Directorate, which had dismissed human dimensional research as primitive fumbling, now called an emergency session. The Nelvari Collective, who had laughed openly at the Horizon Dawn's launch, ceased all transmissions and entered a state of cultural shock. The battle continued as the Vraxian fleet adjusted tactics, attempting to overwhelm the human vessel with sheer volume of fire. They launched thousands of autonomous weapon drones, hoping to find a pattern in the dimensional shifting. "They're adapting," Garcia warned as a few hits managed to strike the hull. Captain Kelly felt the ship communicating with him, suggesting a new approach. "Maya, prepare to create a time dilation field." "A what?" she replied over the comm. "The ship knows how," Kelly said confidently. "Let it guide you." The quantum entanglement core pulsed with new energy patterns as Maya followed its subtle promptings. Around the horizon dawn, space itself seemed to ripple. The attacking Vraxian vessels appeared to slow dramatically, their movements becoming sluggish as if moving through thick liquid. "We've created a pocket of altered time," Alex explained, reading his instruments with amazement. "They're experiencing time at 1/50th our rate." The crew watched in awe as the seemingly frozen Vraxian fleet hung in space around them. Kelly used the opportunity to study their technology, their tactical formations, gathering intelligence that would be priceless to Earth Fleet Command. The moment of triumph was interrupted by a blinding flash from beyond the battlefield. A massive Vraxian vessel, unlike any they had seen before, emerged from lightspeed. Its design was ancient and fearsome, covered in technology that predated the Vraxian Empire itself. "The World Breaker," Zoe whispered, translating the Vraxian emergency transmissions now flooding subspace. "They've deployed their superweapon." The ancient vessel began charging what appeared to be a gravitational collapse weapon, technology forbidden by Galactic Council treaties for its ability to create artificial black holes. The Galactic Council chamber was unlike anything humans had previously been permitted to see. A vast dome of transparent material revealed the swirling colors of a nebula above, while representatives from 200 stellar nations sat in concentric rings around a central platform where the Horizon Dawn's crew now stood. "This emergency session of the Galactic Council is convened," announced the High Speaker, a being composed primarily of shimmering light contained within a crystalline structure. "The matter before us, the human dimensional breakthrough and its implications for galactic stability." Captain Kelly stood tall despite his exhaustion. The journey to the Council's hidden meeting place had been swift thanks to the Horizon Dawn's abilities, but the events of the past days had taken their toll. "We recognize Fleet Admiral Trax of the Danubian Alliance," the High Speaker continued. A tall, avian being rose. "For 50,000 years, dimensional technology beyond the fourth dimension has been suppressed throughout the galaxy, not through ignorance, but by design." The Admiral's feathered crest rose in agitation. "Humans have blundered past safeguards that protected all sentient life." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. "We recognize Elder Shrieksa of the Arcturian Science Directorate," the High Speaker said. A small gray figure with oversized eyes stood from the inner circle. "We have monitored human development closely. Their achievement was unexpected. Our models gave them less than 0.02% probability of successfully creating seventh-dimensional technology within the next 5 centuries. Maya stepped forward. "Perhaps you underestimated human determination." Or perhaps, came a new voice, they had help. All eyes turned to a Vraxian representative who had risen without recognition. "The Vraxian Empire has evidence that third-party intervention accelerated human dimensional research," the delegate hissed. "Their sudden leap in understanding defies natural development curves. We demand an investigation." Kelly exchanged glances with his crew. They had wondered themselves about the quantum entanglement core's unusual evolution and apparent semi-sentience. Before they could respond, a new alarm sounded throughout the chamber. Holographic displays appeared before each delegate, showing disturbing readings. "Dimensional instability detected," the High Speaker announced, its crystalline form flickering with concern. "Sensors indicate a cascade forming near the human vessel." Alex rushed back to the ship's external monitoring systems. "Something's wrong with the Horizon Dawn. The core is activating on its own." Security forces throughout the chamber moved to surround the human delegation as panic spread among the delegates. "This is why dimensional technology was restricted," shouted the Danubian admiral. A cascade could tear apart the fabric of reality across multiple star systems. Maya broke away from the guards and ran to her console. The ship's trying to communicate something. It's accessing data archives at an incredible rate. On the main screens throughout the chamber, images began to appear. Ancient star maps, extinct civilizations, technologies long forgotten. The Horizon Dawn's core was somehow accessing the collective knowledge of races that had mastered dimensional science eons ago, before their knowledge was suppressed. It's showing us why dimensional research was banned, Zoe whispered, translating symbols that flashed across the screen. There was a war. Entire galaxies destroyed. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Some delegates fled while others demanded immediate destruction of the human vessel. We can stabilize it, Maya shouted above the noise. The ship is showing us how. Captain Kelly pushed past the guards to reach his crew. What's happening? Someone sabotaged our dimensional core, Maya explained hurriedly. I think it was deliberate. Look. The screens now showed footage from inside the council's secure areas. Figures tampering with the Horizon Dawn systems during their arrival processing. The Vraxians? Kelly asked. No, Garcia said, studying the images. Those are Nelvari technicians, and that one's Arcturian. The High Speaker's form pulsed with anger. There are factions within the Council who would rather destroy your ship than allow dimensional technology to return to the galaxy. The Horizon Dawn's hull began to glow with an unearthly light as the dimensional cascade grew stronger. Reality itself seemed to waver around the vessel, with objects phasing in and out of existence. We have minutes before the cascade becomes irreversible, Maya warned. Captain, I need to get back to the ship. Maya's hands moved with precise urgency across the quantum entanglement core's control interface. The Horizon Dawn's interior was filled with shifting light, as reality itself seemed to bend and warp around them. Alex worked beside her, translating the ancient dimensional mathematics that the ship's consciousness was providing. The cascade is approaching critical threshold, Alex warned, his voice steady despite the stakes. If we don't stabilize it in the next 3 minutes, the dimensional rupture will spread beyond our containment abilities. Outside the ship, the Galactic Council chamber had been partially evacuated, though many delegates remained, watching in terrified fascination. The great transparent dome above showed fractures in space itself, tears in reality that revealed glimpses of other dimensions bleeding through. I've never seen equations like these, Maya said, her eyes wide as she absorbed the knowledge flowing from the ship. The core isn't just accessing seventh-dimensional space, it's creating a stabilization field that can repair dimensional damage. Captain Kelly's voice came through the comm system. Whatever you're going to do it now. The Council's sensors show the cascade spreading to the surrounding star system. Maya took a deep breath and initiated the sequence. The core pulsed with blinding intensity, and for a moment, everyone on board felt as if they existed in multiple places simultaneously. Then, with a sound like reality itself sighing in relief, the dimensional rifts began to close. It's working, Alex confirmed, checking the readings. The cascade is reversing. Within minutes, the crisis had passed. The Horizon Dawn's core returned to its normal operational state, though it seemed somehow more integrated with the ship than before. Maya patted the console gently, like one might thank a living being. Good job, she whispered. You saved us all. In the council chamber, a profound silence had fallen. The delegates stared at the human vessel and its crew with new expressions, not mockery or condescension, but something very close to fear. Captain Kelly stood again at the center of the chamber, flanked by his crew. The High Speaker's crystalline form glowed with subdued light. The human vessel has prevented a catastrophe, the High Speaker acknowledged, its voice resonating throughout the chamber. A catastrophe born of our own deception and manipulation. Kelly nodded. For years, humanity has been treated as children playing with toys beyond our understanding. Today proves otherwise. What do you demand in return for this service? Asked the Vraxian representative warily. Territorial concessions, technology transfers. The humans now hold power that could destroy us all. Kelly looked at each of his crew members before responding. Earth seeks neither territory nor vengeance. What we want is simple: recognition as equals and honest collaboration. Murmurs of surprise spread through the chamber. Many delegates had expected demands for